Welcome to the Recreation Joint Advisory Committee for the Recreation Department. We'll start today with the approval of last month's minutes. Do I have a motion to approve last month's minutes?
A motion we approve.
A second?
Second.
All in favor? All right, it's unanimous. We'll move on to, let's see, we don't have a visitor. Okay, we can move on to the amenity reports. I'll be covering today for Liz, and Larry was going to cover for Brian today. So I'll start off with London, and not much going on at London. Restrooms were locked for the winter. Pavilion area looked great. Fish cleaning station was clean. Areas for review are none. Member interactions. Several folks were training their dogs in the Greenway area. They commented on the tracks someone carved into the grass. Otherwise, all was positive. The additional observations were there's deep tire tracks carved into the Greenway. It looks like someone was practicing their mudding skills. All else looked great. And that covers London. Pretty short.
You said carved into the Greenway?
Yeah, the Greenway path that goes from the, say, the launch. Let's see, if you're looking up from the launch, it would be on your right-hand side. There's the Greenway there before the creek.
Not the Razorback Greenway.
You're saying
No, not the Razorback Greenway. The lawn. We'll call it the lawn. All right, and that's it for London. We got Corey here today to cover Branchwood and Loch Lomond.
Branchwood looked great as usual. We do have a new soap dispenser at the men's locker room. Used it today. It works. Area for review. The swimsuit dryer in the pool area is pretty rusty on the outside. Member interactions, spoke with 3 men who all noted the need for more pickleball courts. They did note something that we might be able to do something about. They did note that the rollers used to dry the courts don't work. They're worn out. One person suggested turning the shuffleboard court that's there, turning that into an additional pickleball court, perhaps. They were also complimentary of the new gate, and Keith and Alan wanted to make a comment related to pickleball at Branchwood.
Yeah, just so many positive feedbacks about the new gates being added, and as mentioned earlier, just in need of some gravel. There's a little lip, could be a safety issue coming off the court, and it's a little slick when it's muddy. So sooner we can get gravel out there. The new gate, the one new gate is great. The back gate, no need. It just goes to the backwoods, but that would be great.
Okay, that's all for Branchwood. Related to Loch Lomond rec area. The area is pretty busy today about lunchtime. Looks to be in good condition. Bathrooms are clean. Trash cans were totally empty. The dog park is being reseeded, or the big dog area is being reseeded. Looks like it'll look nice to have grass in there for a little while till floods, right? And area for review in between the like ADA parking lot and the large dog area, there's a large metal post that's been pulled out of the ground that's got the concrete still attached. It's just laying in the yard. Member interaction, the member I talked to commented overall satisfied with that part, noted that the furniture looks worn. So nothing new there. That's all.
On the suggestion regarding using the shuffleboard court, Joan had covered that a couple months, years ago. It's not the right size.
Okay.
Too small.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had suggested the possibility of turning that into maybe just a little small practice area. Just for pickleball practice.
That's the kind of feedback we get as well. It'd be what's becoming popular in pickleball is called skinny singles, where you take a half a court, and for the older folks who don't want to run around the whole court, you just play in halves, and it may or may not be adequate for that. And I do believe they even manufacture nets for that half size as well.
Size.
So maybe worth considering.
That's a good idea. I just had a question with regard to they have the new gates, and as you walk in, you're walking through dirt and mud right now to get to the gate. So I was wondering if there's any plans to add concrete there or pavers or some way to ingress into that without walking through the grass, because a lot of times that gets worn down, so it's just dirt, and if it's wet in the morning, it's, you know, you got mud on your shoes by the time you get in.
I've been out there and we've overseen what needs to be done and stuff, so it's.
Microphone.
We've looked at the area and we've looked at just adding some rock, but long-term, you know, a concrete path, a sidewalk is kind of what our goal would be eventually out there, so to address those concerns, yeah.
On both sides going around too?
Yeah, we're looking at different possibilities,
There's
yeah.
pavers on that side right now too.
Yeah,
right?
so,
Because some people are still using the old gate because they don't want to get their
yeah, I
feet
understand,
wet
yeah.
getting into
So,
the
yeah,
new one.
we're on it, we've noticed it.
Okay, thanks.
All right, thank you all. Moving on to Blowing Springs, we have Larry.
Yeah, Blowing Springs and the Gear Garden. Overall condition, very good. I spoke with Bernie. She always seems to be there the days that I come. Nothing to add to my observations. First campground lot was about a third full. This was on the 5th, so that's not a weekend. There were fewer campers in the second lot. Now taking reservations for the October Big Sugar Race, and we're almost full for spring break at the campground. Question, and maybe it's for you, Trey. When is the online reservation system going to be operational?
Near future.
Like 24 or this month? I'm just curious.
We have the holdup on it now is something that has to get finished. We're not sure what the timeline is on it. We have to just get it done, and then we'll know when the date is. So we're very close to giving an official date, and that official date should be in the next couple of weeks. But we're close, but we can't say it specifically
Okay.
yet.
Well, that'll obviously be very helpful to the efficiency. I didn't realize that whoever's manning the booth actually just takes reservations by phone, and then they have to call out. So I've implemented a lot of software systems, and yeah, if the rep tells you it's a month, it will be a year. So I understand. Areas review, same as I talked about before. Most of them are, because it's all outdoors, or weather related. We can't really do some of those things. The potholes, entering lot 1, painting on the Gear Garden water station, the bench at the Blowing Springs parking lot. At the trailhead map, so when you pull into that parking lot and there's a toilet and a changing area, whatever, there's also a board with the map of the trails, and there is a sign that says dogs must be leashed. It was almost falling off. I tried to put it back in. I need some of the thumbtack. Tried to fix it. Then there's a sort of a little creek. You're going to go in, you're past the booth, you're going to go turning into lot number 1, then there's the road that sort of comes back, or if you're going to go farther to Gear Garden. And it hadn't really rained that day, but that area was overflowing, the little creek that's there. I don't know if I want to use the word flooded. You can certainly drive through fine, so I don't know if there's anything we can do about that. And this is the first time, I'm sure they've been there, but I hadn't noticed before. In the second lot, there were some potholes as you get up to as you come in. They're not huge, but I assume we'll take care of those when we take care of the other ones. I was able to speak with 2 campers. You know, as you know, when you go there, you're usually not talking to members, you're talking to customers. And 2 women from Baltimore, they were here to bike. The first time, even in Northwest Arkansas, they were pretty excited, all the amenities here. They thought they were in Bentonville. I had to politely indicate, well, they're not in Bentonville, you're in Bella Vista. But they were really, really pleased. They're staying for a week. They did want to rent a kayak. I told them marina wasn't open, so that's one of my questions. When do we open the marina?
April 1st.
April 1st. Okay, thanks. Yeah. It happened to be a nice day, so that is all I had on Blowing Springs in the Gear Garden.
All right, thank you, Larry. I will cover for Liz, and we'll start off with Tyree Park. The lawns and parking area were well maintained and free of trash. Trash cans were not filled to capacity. Portable potty was maintained. Areas for review, 2 of the 5 watercraft that are stored have a 2025 sticker. When is the deadline? Is that March? End of March, okay, so there's still 2 weeks. Member interaction, the only thing she had was a picture of some ducks. It was her interaction, so.
Oh, they're good eating.
There, well, yeah. Next up is Grant and Park. Let's see, the park must have been well used the day before as both trash cans were full. Restroom needed to be serviced. Landscape looked great. Areas for review, I've attached a picture of 2 large pieces of something on the shore by the fish cleaning station. She doesn't know what these are. I'm looking at it, it looks like someone's dock or a portion of it. Let's see, 2 of the 18 watercraft have their 2025 stickers. And again, you know, we have until the end of March, so. Member interactions, there were no interactions with the members when she visited. And I do have the pictures I can pass on to you, Rick, if you'd like. But I imagine they're a portion of somebody's dock that they'll be after eventually. And that's all I have. JP is not here today, and I see he's not on our Zoom, so we'll move on to Kingsdale. That'd be Richard.
Well, I took a little walk around the area, pavilion and the playground and the miniature golf, basketball court, and everything looked really nice. I mean, it all picked up and looked like it was all in good shape. Of course, the swimming pools are all locked up and covered over, and I mean, they look fine, but they're not being used right now. The rec center, I mean, as far as I can tell, is everything is in good shape. I went over there and worked out the other day, and there's quite a few people in the exercise room, and I think the line dancers were going at it in the main arena there. I just kind of peeked in and they had pretty good attendance at those things, at the line dancing. They had a lot of people. The tennis courts and all look pretty good. I did get some people that had asked about the windscreens, because I think that Kelly's taken them down sometimes when they have real bad storms and to prevent them from getting ripped up. But they were kind of wondering why are the windscreens down? We know it was just kind of a windy day and they thought they should be up. But I hadn't talked to Kelly about it, but I think that sometimes she'll take them down if it's going to be stormy so that they don't tear, you know, and whatnot. But they were wondering about the windscreens. That's the only thing. But everybody seems that I talked to, particularly my wife and her friends on her team and stuff, they're really high on Kelly, really like her. But that's about all I have. I didn't really have anything negative or anything that I thought needed attention.
All right, thank you, Richard. Next up will be Keith for Lake Ann and Medfield.
Okay, I'll start with the Lake Ann Dam area. Actually, at the launch area, just visited Wednesday after a strong rain and wind, but still areas in great shape. The dam docks all good around the dam, trash cans empty, nothing to review, no member interactions. In the launch area, the grass starting to green up and weeds are coming along with that, so that'll be fun to watch. Pavilion barbecue area is great, portalet's good, trash cans good, ramp and cleaning stations well kept. Only areas for review, there's many small limbs fallen around the cement picnic table. Just a big sycamore tree just drops limbs with any hard winds, and of course we had some hard winds last week just before I visited. There's also not sure how long it's been there, but there is a dock that had been built and tied up in a boat launch area. Looks like it had a notification of a violation attached, but it had been washed out, so I really couldn't see how long it had been there. I'm sure it's just probably waiting for cables or something to get moved over to its appropriate location. There was also just 2 kayak canoes still missing their 24 or newer registration. I'll move on to Metfield. Metfield looking great as always. Just starting with my download. Starting with the pickleball area, it too had post-wind, had a couple wind screens that were falling. Now, I made note and include pictures of a couple signs that had lost their security ties, so they were actually flopping back and forth. So as they look at that windscreen, just have them look at the two signs on the front right, and they'll see that they need attached as well. Member interactions, I had a really good interaction with Cheryl at the fitness center. She talked about how great Jessica is and how quick she responds to any of her feedback or needs. She also said there was a small issue with the parking lot lights where when there's a power flash, the maintenance has to actually come out and reset something for the lights to automatically come on. I don't know if there's a resolution, but she looked at it as a potential security safety issue, walking to her car at night when it's dark with no lights. And that is really it for Metfield. Thanks.
If I could make comment to a couple of things you talked about. At Lake Ann, that dock that's in a mooring location, the owner's been notified that it needs to be moved. It was his intention to leave it there as part of his mooring site, but
Ooh, wow.
yeah, so that we're taking care of that. So.
And I did not mention, but I did include a picture. There's still a rubber strip on the launch dock that needs to be repaired. It's been a couple months, but now that the launches will start, probably good to have that reattached. Thanks again.
All right, thank you, Keith. Moving on to the gun ranges, Larry will cover for Brian today.
Overall condition, pistol, rifle, archery are currently closed, as we know, with progress being reported by Tom Judson. Trap and skeet, overall good condition. Other structures, good condition, except as noted in previous reports or listed below. Areas for review, there are currently no areas for review. Member interactions, there were over 24 individuals using all 4 lanes at the trap and skeet area at the time of review. This without doubt is a well-used facility within the group of POA amenities. I did not speak with any of the participants as all were engaged in the discharging of firearms or actively assisting those individuals. No additional observations, so we know Brian is a smart man. That's his report.
All right, thank you, Larry. Next up is Alan, and he has Tanyard Creek, Trails, Blowing Springs, Greenway.
All right. Overall condition at Tanyard Creek is exceptional. Even after all the weather we had, the trails held up really well. Some of the really good weather in February, the overflow parking lots have been half full to 3/4. So people are getting out. All the bathrooms are clean and good working condition. The pavilion is clean and available for rental. So ready to go. I was out on a work day with my volunteers on Valentine's Day, February 14th, and it was cold. It was bitterly cold. And the only other people that were there were a group of 7 women that had come out, and they were having a get-together from all over the country. And I got to talk to all of them because they kind of spread out, and I caught them at different places in the park. And they were highly impressed with Tanyard Creek Park. They just thought it was the best they'd ever seen. I couldn't believe it. So that was a really good interview. Some good feedback. Additional observations. Does anybody know where the trail extension will be located between the new golf practice facility and the pavilion? Like if you wanted to park at the.
You mean the concrete trail that's along the drive? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, yeah, like, will there be anything coming up?
There's gonna be, we're working on that, should be installed in the next couple weeks. It's not gonna go the entire length.
Okay.
We were only required to go halfway by the city, and so in the interest of trying to save money, we just
That's
are
good.
doing half.
Good,
So.
that's great.
And they're gonna be installing some trees along that way also for beautification.
Good deal. All right. Okay, moving on to Blowing Springs Greenway Trail. Overall condition, clean of litter, very well maintained. There's just a few limbs and gravel wash areas from Low Ride Trail where it comes in there. And right there at Low Water Trail where the culvert is, it might be what Larry was talking about, where it washed over the road. That culvert is stopped up. And it could be what's causing it to flow over the trail. All the interactions I had with people walking dogs were just, thumbs up. They love Blowing Springs. The only additional observations, water fill station at the front parking lot would be nice if we ever get around to looking at anything like that. It was full today. I was there today. And also, on another note, I walked Sycamore Trail today. And it's right behind where they had the grand opening for the bike park, Bella Vista Bike Park, where that original log cabin is. And I walked it, and as I was coming back out, there was two ladies. And one of them was the lady that grew up in that house. Wow. Her name's Charity Linebarger, and her daughter. So I got to visit with them for at least an hour on the trail, and she told me all about that area. And I can't remember if she had been back one other time. She left when she was 12 years old and moved to California. And I can't remember if she told me she had been back previously, but she was just blown away by what's going on in Bella Vista. She was just happy as a lark about it, everything about it. So that was really a chance, to run into somebody like that. So there you go, right there. You got thumbs up from one of the people that grew up in that house.
You're walking with history.
Yeah, her and her two sisters, Linebarger.
Yeah, they ran the Bella Vista for a long time ago.
Yeah, well, she said her dad moved in the 20s when they were building all the old cabins here, and they had originally settled in Turnbull, Texas, and they said they hated it, and said he came up looking for a place to move, and he found that place. They own 15 acres. No, I'm sorry, 9 acres that goes up in that hollow. So anyway, very interesting conversation. That's all I have.
I believe she may have been one of the authors of a book. Was she the author or co-author of a book written about the start of Bella Vista?
Yeah, and she was one of the reasons she came to Bella Vista. Her daughter brought her in. They interviewed her at the museum, Angie at the museum, and they're going to do a special. And it's going to be, I believe, it's going to be on the Bella Vista Community Network. Or I don't know exactly what that is, but they did a 2-hour interview with her. So it'll be out to the public at one time or another. So, anyway.
Well, thanks a lot, Al. Yep. We're going to move on to current business, which we start with the gun range update. And we'll let Tom fill us in.
All right. Last update, hopefully last updates. So we're looking at April 1st, as long as the weather continues to cooperate. So we're feeling pretty good. So here's a couple pictures. This is the manufacturing the ballistic panels. You can see how they actually will the panel will actually, in the top left, you'll actually slide that across. That's the entryway where you walk down to put your targets. This will actually slide across so that if someone is aiming sideways to the wrong target, it'll knock it down also. So this is kind of I half closed the panel just to kind of give you an idea. So if you're standing at one and you're shooting across, which unfortunately happens, this'll knock it down. And then we have the side panels also, so you can see that on the side in case someone shoots laterally, which has happened. And then the skip berms, you can see the railroad ties, but those are the skip berms for rounds that hit the ground and then can ricochet up. So demonstrates the view that you're going to have. This is just one of the speakers and light features that we're going to have. It's at every single location, and it comes on just to notify you when the range is going to go cold. I think I shared this with you last time, but this is them hydroseeding the berms. And so that once we get some good weather, they'll start coming in. This is a picture of one of our sprinkler heads. We have a whole bunch of them, but we had our golf course maintenance team come out there and install the irrigation so that when we put down grass, we'll be able to grow it with the irrigation. The fencing is 100% complete, and so here's some views of the fencing that was installed. This is the roof, the metal roof for the rifle side, so that's 100% done. This is jumping back to the pistol side. You see that we're by and large done on this side also. And this is the archery range. On the left-hand side is them starting the work, and on the right-hand side you can see the metal roof is up. So they're really making a lot of great progress there. And then I'm going to show you a quick video and see if you can kind of notice all the different things they've done. The video is a little bit fast, but you can really get a good idea of what's going on by watching this. So that's the pistol side, and you can see the baffles and the berm on the pistol side. And then this is the archery. They're working on it, which is now, the roof is now complete, but you can see them actually working on it. And you'll see yellow flags every once in a while, and those are the sprinkler heads that they've installed. And then here's the rifle side, and you can see the baffles in there and the walkway and the target areas. More yellow flags. And that was a target to the right. There's actually going to have areas where you put those in the ground. And there's another target you can see. So they're really making a lot of great progress on this. You can see the sliding ballistic barriers that go across the entryway. And the skip berms, you can see those. And you can see the guys moving the topsoil so we can get some grass to grow. You can see them moving around. The storage bin. So you can see it's really, we're going to have a really nice facility when we're all done. The team has done just an outstanding job, and we're getting really close. So hopefully April 1st, as long as everything goes well, we'll be open for business. Yeah. So that was actually on our Facebook page.
Okay.
So you can access that. And you can go a little bit slower. It goes kind of quick and everything. But they're making some great progress. Really proud of the work they've done.
Tom, that's an amazing facility, and, you know, coupled with
Okay.
the new golf practice facility, just two of the nicest facilities
Yeah.
that neighborhood could have. I haven't heard when the new practice facility is opening. Is there a date on that yet?
Yeah, we're having some last minute challenges, so I'm gonna stay silent on when it's gonna open, because we got some last minute challenges that are really making my bald spot bigger. So
I have a couple questions. The baffles, what's that sort of white, what's the material that's in the middle of it? Is it some kind of wood or?
So it's a type of gravel that doesn't compact, something in between sand and gravel, kind of a fine material like that. It does not pack because you don't want a solid surface. So, but it's a material in there that basically, if you got punched through from a bullet through wood, you just basically get a lot of shock absorbing materials. Yeah. As you probably know, sand is really good at absorbing force. So same sort of deal there.
And this is the things that slide, that's what I'm talking about.
Oh, you're talking about the actual panel that slides. That
Right.
is it's not Kevlar, but it is a very similar material embedded in fiberglass. So it's very close to Kevlar sheets that are put and set inside of fiberglass.
and you experimented with
Yes,
it, right?
it has been tested, and it
Good.
holds up very well.
Second question is, when we are open, and maybe this applies now to skeet and draft, do you have to make reservations? I wasn't here when it was all open.
No, you don't.
It's just
need-
first come, first serve?
It's first come, first serve. I'm sure it's gonna be fairly busy
Oh, yeah.
when it opens. We did double the number of rifle shooting positions.
Correct.
The number of pistol is the same, and then archery is brand new, so we don't even know what to expect.
Sure.
But we're gonna have 6 shooting positions, 6 or 5
For archery?
archery.
6.
6
Yep.
shooting positions, so hopefully we guessed right. We don't really know what the demand is, so we had to guess.
No, you're probably right. It's gonna be strong when you open, a lot of pent up, and then people will probably
Yeah.
settle into their
Agreed.
patterns. Thanks, guys. It's exciting.
All right, thank you, Tom. Now, under new business, we have Roland, who's going to propose, well, let Roland explain.
Bella Vista Animal Excuse me, the Animal Vista, or the Bella Vista Animal Shelter is hosting their 20th annual Weeder vs. Corgi dog race. They would like to use the Birksdale South Trail adjacent to the Allen's Food. This is proposed for October the 11th. So they're looking for approval from the fitness committee or recreation committee for approval. Correct, yeah. All proceeds are obviously going to the animal shelter.
Dachshund's race, is that how this works?
It's the annual Wiener Take All. So they have Wieners run and they have Corgis run.
Oh.
And at
yeah.
the end, they run against each other. I know this because my dog Adler won the whole thing last year. Very proud of it. I did absolutely nothing other than hold up a treat.
Do they, I mean, I know this sounds silly, but like, so my daughter who lives over in the Highlands has a Dachshund Chihuahua mix. How much do you have to be purebred
There
dog?
is a wannabe wiener race also.
Okay, seriously. Okay.
Seriously, they have a wannabe wiener race also.
Okay. We'll
It's
see
a whole
whether
production. If
Pecan
anybody,
wants to race.
I mean, it's all for charity,
Oh,
and the
sure.
funds go to the animal shelter, so, if your dog wants to race, they'll collect the money from you. And they have nice prizes and everything. They do a really, really good job. This last year, they had, the police out there, and they demonstrated the, drug sniffing, and then they had the guy in the big suit, and the dog ran after it, so they do demonstrations.
Those were larger dogs.
Larger dog,
Yeah,
yeah.
it was a
Shepherds or
huge
something.
dog,
Yeah.
very well
Yeah.
trained.
This is the same race that they've had for years at Loch Lomond Park,
Oh,
and they're hoping to move to Birchdale South for this. So
is there, why do they want to move it?
It's a busy day, it's a popular race, and everybody has to come across the street, has to come across Glasgow to go from parking to the park.
Oh, yeah.
And so this would
I
solve that.
think they've outgrown the park.
Is this sort of behind Allen's or something?
North of Allen's.
North of Allen.
So you're right, park.
We have a
There's that.
huge, we have 10 times the amount of space up there.
Yeah, it's growing. Yeah.
I mean, I certainly don't.
All right, do I have a motion?
I move
You move.
that we approve the request of the animal shelter to hold the Wiener race on October 11th at Birksdale South,
With a rain date for the following day.
with a rain date of the 12th.
Do I have a second? for that?
I second.
All in favor? All right, it's unanimous. They're in. We have board liaisons, 2 of the 3 here, Kathleen and Jeff. Did you have anything you needed to add, would like to add at all today? All right, okay.
Say no, just a big thank you for your time and continued attention to detail as we head into our busy season and amenity usage is picking up. So thank you. And Alan, that was a great member. The Linebargers, probably the neatest member interaction I've heard. So thanks.
Yeah, she was a really nice conversation.
That's great.
She said there was a winery there behind the building.
Oh, yeah.
I said, where'd you grow the grapes? She said, well, we didn't really grow grapes.
Not winery moonshine.
Yeah.
Close to Missouri.
I think that's winery in air quotes.
I thought that was good. She was delightful.
All right, well, thank you, Alan and Kathleen. We're gonna move on to the POA staff reports, and we will start with Tom.
Just inviting everybody to the March 18th Meet the Candidates. Those are the candidates running for the Board of Directors. We have 4 candidates. It'll be March 18th, 6 p.m. at the Rec. So if you...
How many spots are there open?
3.
Okay.
And they're all 3 are 3-year terms. And so we encourage people to, if you can't attend in person, which we hope you can, please at least view online so you can make an informed decision.
Is that gonna be in that meeting room, whatever?
In the
that's
big
called?
room.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah. The big one.
When you pull in, it's the one, there's people having birthday parties and, no, something else?
At the Rec Center,
Yeah.
BVRC, the big room when you go straight in.
Oh, I see, you mean the arena thing. Yeah.
With the windows facing the parking lot.
Oh, that's what I'm talking about, okay. Okay, I didn't know that's what it was called. I was there the other day and they had a funeral going on.
It's labeled called crowd.
Yeah. Well, it's what Trey says, it's the one with the windows.
It's to the right.
Okay.
Got it.
gotcha. Okay.
Come to the building, they'll tell you where to go, including me.
Because I do plan on being.
All right, is that it? That's it, okay. Next up is Rick Eccles.
Good afternoon. To give a Lake Norwood update, the siphon is off, which we had promised by the 1st of March, and we have taken the opportunity to increase the length of the boat ramp by 8 feet and widen it by 2 feet. For those that were challenged in backing trailers. That was kind of a tricky one to get in before, but that's been taken care of. The extra length will give us some room, even when the lake is down, to be able to launch a boat safely. The ongoing work at the gun range may prevent us from doing all the dredging we had intended on the upper end of the lake, but we are getting in some fish habitat later this week, and that'll be done. Our POA rangers had 965 contacts for the month of February, 44 people removed, 15 by boat, and 26 hours on the water in February. That is down from January of this year and also down from February of 2024 in large regard to the really cold, snowy weather we had mid-month. The guys have been finding and returning and getting reports of a lot of boats and kayaks that were lost due to the wind. And so this gives me the opportunity to make the plea to have people register their boats so they're easily returned. Grounds maintenance, we have a couple of positions that we just recently filled one today. We have folks that are transitioning to the gun range, so we had to backfill those. Lake Brittany is still down, but slowly rising due to the rain and the well pump being on. It's now down 21 inches. We're still working hard to get the gun range complete, as we talked about. And the dredging at London and Granton landings will be taken care of before warm weather, again, once the heavy equipment gets away from the gun range. And under staffing, we're filling positions, lake rangers, grounds maintenance, and the gun range. And our lakes ecology staff are out this week doing water quality on the lakes and streams, getting some Christmas tree habitat in on Lake Ann and Lake Norwood. We're going to be receiving 8 truckloads of threadfin shad for Loch Lomond, about 60,000 fish during the March 24th week. Hopefully we can get those in before they spawn, so we get the benefit of them spawning once they're here. And then that will only multiply the benefit of having those. We're going to be starting our grass carp raffle in April. Basically, you catch a grass carp, you show us proof that you've done that, you get a raffle ticket. At the end of the month, we draw for $100. We're trying to remove as many grass carp as we can, especially on Loch Lomond. And our first video short has been completed. This one was, it's been shot and a voiceover done, but they're still producing it for the heated dock. So we're gonna go and look at different amenities and different things that we do and make little video shorts that'll be available. And we also are having a creel survey rolling out in April to gather input from our members on fishing in our Bella Vista Lakes. And that's my report.
Is that fish, grass carp, is that an invasive species or something? Is that why we want it gone?
No, no, they were stocked on purpose to rid the lakes of an invasive weed. That's been done, and now we need to get rid of the carp.
They did their job, then go away.
They did their job, now they need to go away, and we need to bring back some native vegetation.
Just curious, Rick, is that true for golf course ponds as well? I noticed a lot of carp in, like around Scottsdale.
Yes, we put those there on purpose, and we'll keep those there. And we may even add to them as we catch them. That pond has notoriously been very bad for producing weeds, and it doesn't respond very well chemically because the spring that moves through that is so bold that it dilutes the chemical before it has a chance to work. And so we would rather not use chemicals anyway. So
All right, well, thank you, Rick. Next up is
I've got
John.
a question.
Oh, go ahead.
Do you access, do they have tournaments on the lakes?
We do, at least so far, we only have one tournament scheduled for this year, or one series of tournaments.
Okay, do you access their information for your creel report?
We do keep the results of that, yes.
Okay, good.
And we've actually in the past turned it into the state of Arkansas, who also wants to keep track, so.
All right, again, thank you, Rick. Moving on to John.
So we are in the season of trap, as Brian kind of said in his report. It was very busy. I'm assuming he was out there on a Saturday, given what he was talking about. Our Saturdays from now until probably the tail end of May will be extremely busy. So if you want to show up and shoot immediately, it's probably good to come after lunchtime on a Saturday, just because everybody tends to pile in on the Saturday mornings. Try to get as much shooting done as possible. Tournament season is also starting with trap, so we'll have a lot of those starting to stack up in March and April. So everybody's working right now to make sure that everything's in good working order, trying to get those machines and all their maintenance done before we go into the kind of grueling tournament season, because once that starts, it becomes problematic if we have breakdowns and that sort of thing. So we're working hard on that. In the background, there's lots of electronic infrastructure update going on. IT updates is what I mean. We're kind of using Trap and Skeet as a primer and a springboard to launch a new system that the gun ranges have never been on. So whenever rifle pistol's ready to open, we'll be on the same system there, but we're using Trap and Skeet as a training tool, but it also needed a big time update. So that's all going on right now. So if we have some electronic issues or point of sale issues, just bear with us. Everything has worked flawlessly so far, but I'll just keep my fingers crossed. We did lose 3 days of operation in February due to snowy weather. However, our attendance was right in line with last year, so everything went great in February. That's all I've got.
All right, thank you, John. Next up is Trey.
All right, folks, numbers for the trails in February, we were at, we counted 6,624 users. That was on the 10 trail counters. This was up 16% from January, but a little lower than last February, but we had, last February was pretty good weather-wise. Busiest day was the 28th. That was the Friday when it was in the 70s, so busiest, and it wasn't close. Huntley and Greenway, again, were the busiest spots of our 10 counters this month. Couple updates, the rail work, the bridge that runs around the bluff at 71 in Trafalgar on Back 40, which was kind of we used in a lot of our promotional stuff in the beginning of Back 40, kind of a iconic little spot for us. We did the first stage of a redo on that, redid the several of the posts, and put new railings in there, so, and it turned out great. So it'll be good looking and a little safer for us. We met with trail builders to discuss the tunnel under Lancashire, right there at the golf course that they had to tear up for the highway project. We're where we want to be on that. Construction's we don't have a date yet for finish the construction, but that tunnel will be good and done. I think we found a design that everybody's gonna be happy with there. This month, I guess it was technically this month, the FAST organization, the Friends of Arkansas Single Track, which is the biggest volunteer trail organization, came here and had an open meeting, their quarterly meeting, so people could come and kind of hear what everybody was doing. They had that here, which was the first time, and it worked out fantastic. We're gonna see if we can do it again in June. So that's a good deal for people who are interested in learning about volunteering, one of the volunteer opportunities here. It's also great to kind of see what just like any board meeting that you go to, you kind of see the nuts and bolts, see what's happening, see how the machine's working.
What's the name of that organization?
FAST.
FAST?
Which is Friends of Arkansas Single Track, which is Bella Vista and Bentonville volunteer trail maintainers. They also put on races. They have a medical team that goes to most of the races in the area, provides medical support. They do a lot of advocacy. They're the main trail volunteer organization in Northwest Arkansas. They've been here the longest. They're a division of IMBA, which is the national kind of volunteer organization. So they'll be back here again in June, if we can fit them in. And then the Trailblazers hired a new volunteer coordinator. They'd lost their long-term volunteer coordinator almost a year ago. They brought somebody else in. Her job is going to be slightly different. It's not going to be the exact same, but there is going to be somebody at Trailblazers now that's going to be a point person for that. She just got in. She's hopefully getting some time to settle in before everybody jumps on her, but I imagine she's not. I'm going to give her a little bit before we push forward. She just got in last week. So that's the big stuff for the trails.
Quick question on that area at Trafalgar and 71. There are parking areas on both sides. One of them has a lot of no parking signs, but a very large area to the right as you're going north on 71, right at that intersection.
Mm-hmm.
I've always loved that trail. I've always been curious if you are or are not allowed to park there.
No, trail users are not allowed to park there. You're going to see for the last couple weeks and for another couple weeks, you're going to see fair amount of parking in there as they finish the trail, the bluff trail that runs along 71. So construction crews get special permission to park there. So that's what you're going to see.
I have a question. When you approach one of the lighted signals, say on any of the roads, who has the right of way?
The cars do. There are trail users have stop signs on either side, and they're to stop for traffic. Those lights are to alert drivers that there may be people crossing. There may be someone crossing as they're approaching, and it's a safety measure with the state. But that's what the deal is there. You've got a stop sign. Trail users have stop signs there.
Okay, so the vehicle just needs to slow down. They don't have to stop.
It's not exactly like a yield sign, but it is the same idea that a yield sign is heads up something's coming.
Just let it.
Because I always stop, and then people come up on top of me like, "What are you stopping for?"
Yeah,
and I'm going, "Well, they're crossing the road. You know, it's like walking across the road."
It is, and in Arkansas, bicyclists don't have to follow road signs. And that just changed since those were installed. That law has changed.
Oh, really?
And then bicyclists always do have the right-of-way crossing. So if there is an accident, but those are not stop signs for drivers. They're just to alert you that people are passing there.
So let me or if you could clarify, that just changed, meaning bicyclists
not just changed. It's been 3 or 4 years, I believe, since Arkansas changed their law that says that bicyclists do not have to follow the same laws. Yeah, so they don't have to. They can make rights. They can go through stop signs. They can.
Providing there are not cars.
Yeah. If it's prudent, whatever the.
And they can roll through a stop sign.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
If there are no cars.
Explains a lot. Okay. All right.
That's good. I have one more question. I'm a hiker. I'm on the trail. Who has the right of way, the biker or the hiker?
So there is no legal, there's no law that answers that question.
Okay.
There are best practices. Those best practices change from one geographic region to another mostly based on elevation. The bigger deal is going up, or is the person on a bike going up, or is the person on a bike going down? But in general, the biker will yield to the hiker. That's that's a general rule in our trail.
I always get off the trail.
Hikers
for
have the right of way.
biker, you know,
I will
because
say, as one who does both, the hiker, it's always easier to move away. And
right.
let
It's,
them
and it is, it's always easier for the hiker to clear the trail than it is for the biker. However, the biker is more dangerous than the hiker. So if we make it so that the biker yields to the hiker, we're not in a position where the person who is the most dangerous isn't preparing to stop. So if it were that the biker had the right of way, they might fly through and expect the hiker to step off.
That's a great point.
That's a great point.
So that's kind of the deal. You
I
always
ran into
assume
I
the
ran
other
into
person.
a lot of bikers today, and everybody was spot on
Mhm.
about safety. And they'll tell you, well, we got 3 more bikes coming.
Yep.
And that
Yep.
helps a lot,
Yep.
because I won't jump right back.
Yeah,
on
you won't get
on
back
a-
on. Mhm.
On a blind trail, you
Yep.
know. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Trey. Next up is Roland.
So Metfield, we have 4 new treadmills arriving this Wednesday, so that will be nice for the Metfield Center for brand new treadmills for the users. 2 big events coming up in April. April 12th, we have the annual Spring Bazaar happening at BBRC. And then the annual Easter egg hunt is April 19th, also at BBRC. So both quite well-attended big events for the community.
All right, thank you, Roland. That's a wrap. If there's no further questions, our next meeting is April.
I do
Go
have
ahead,
one.
Larry.
So, it was a question that Brian in his email to us sent. He was asking about the Pioneer Cups. I don't even know what he's talking about. I thought maybe it was a soccer tournament because I used to coach, but
Those
no.
are at the Gear Garden.
Okay,
And so if you get a Pioneer Cup, you get $1 off your beer when you go to the Gear Garden. And we have, at this point, quite a collection, at least I do, of probably about 6 or 7 over the years, and all of them are good. And if you go to BB Bar and Grill over the next month, you can bring your Pioneer Cup and you can get $1 off your beer at BB Bar and Grill. No, BB 65, sorry.
Okay, I
BB
was gonna ask
65.
about that.
I said it wrong.
so when is the Gear Garden opening?
I think it's April,
It's a soft, yeah.
I'm sorry.
After Easter.
I think it's middle of April is when it opens up.
Because I know I'll have
Did that
more to
answer your
look at.
question?
Yes, it does, thank you very
And we
much.
already got the shipment, the New Year's shipment of Pioneer Cups in. So they're ready to go.
All right, I'll make Brian happy.
All right, our next meeting will be April 14th, 4 o'clock here in the boardroom. This meeting's adjourned.